everyone, it's Suzanne, the Beauty Shaman, and this is part 3 in a section of 5 tutorials, makeup tutorials that I'm teaching. They're about 5 minutes long each, so you can tune in to whatever aspect you specifically are interested in. In this episode, I'm talking about bronzer and blush. So I've already done skincare and foundation, concealer, and highlighter. So that's why I look like this. So let's talk about bronzer. All right, I have a lot to say about bronzer because now if you look in magazines and in the media, women have a gob of it on. It's totally a cultural trend. It's like they took bronzer and they pretended they were a steak and they like rubbed it on there like it's seasonings or something. Okay, you are not a steak. Plus, as you get over 40 and you start putting that much bronzer on, you're gonna look weird. I'm sorry, you're just looking weird. Be really careful of the bronzer thing. Bronzer epidemic, like I like to call it. So what I wanna use bronzer for is to more add dimensions. Like right now my face is pretty flat because it's just got one color of foundation on. So bronzer is meant to add warmth because it's a warmer color. Let me talk for a second about the color. You wanna match right here. So whatever color that is. Right now I'm really dark because I'm a runner, right? So I get really dark right here. So I'm not totally gonna match that because that's a little dark, but that's the idea. You wanna go 1 to 2 shades darker than your own skin, and you just wanna frame your face. That's it. Don't be a steak. Okay, regarding blush, one of the lines I really like is called Lip Bar. It's a line out of Denver. My friend makes it. Really like this line, highly recommended. It's in the credits. This is the bronzer that I use, like that. So it's just 1 to 2 shades darker than my skin. And there's not a lot of mica in there, not a lot of glitter. You see people who use bronzer with a ton of glitter in it. A suntan never has mica in it, okay? Mica is the shiny stuff. So, cut the mica. I do have one bronzer with a lot of mica that I use when that's the effect I want, when I want that kind of shiny thing. I use it on print shoots sometimes, photography shoots. But today we're doing natural, okay? We're sticking with kind of looking normal. So this is my bronzer. I'm gonna use the bronzer blush, which you can use or not. And I'm just gonna go only to frame my face, okay? So I'm using it slightly under. Now one thing I wanna make, comment I wanna make is I've gotten older, I've gotten thinner in the face. So if I took this and I really went under my cheekbone right here, it's gonna make my face look even more thin. That's not what you want. If you have a really round face, then yeah, go ahead, because that's gonna help to add more dimensions to a round face. If you have a thin face like mine, be really careful about that. I'm just going underneath my cheekbone and brushing it up a little bit, just giving it a little bit of depth, right? Same thing on the other side. Just kind of go under, warm it up just a bit, right? Just a very slight warm. I also go underneath here, because as we get older, things start drooping a little bit, right? So I'm just going underneath my jawbone and down. You can also take this on the jawbone a little bit if you want, if you're like me and you have a really strong jaw. Now I have bangs, but if I didn't have bangs, I would take this as I have a high forehead and I would just put it slightly up in here. If you have a square forehead where this is the highest point on your forehead, then you would put this here and on the other side. And what that'll do is it'll make your face look a little bit rounder and less square. Just a thought. Okay, that's my speech on bronzer. Don't overuse the bronzer. Okay, blush. So blushes, these are some of my blushes. I have a ton of blush. I have a ton of makeup because I have issues. So today I'm wearing red. So I generally go with the blush and lipstick according to A, what looks good on people, and B, what they're wearing. So generally I have 2 blushes. I either go towards the cool tones like the rosy tones, or maybe a burgundy if someone has a darker skin complexion, or warm tones like peaches, copper tones, that kind of thing. Again, according to whatever skin color person I'm making up. So on myself, I'm a pretty pale white girl. So I'm gonna use, and I have red. So red is a warm tone. I'm gonna use a warm blush. You don't really wanna go contradictory. If I'm wearing red, you don't really wanna do pink. If I'm wearing pink, peach probably wouldn't be the best thing. There are always ways to break that rule. There's no such thing as rules actually when it comes to makeup, but I'm just giving you some very concrete kind of examples here. So you fill your brush with your blush. Again, I use really good brushes. These are actually, most of these are MAC. This is actually Bhumi, B-H-U-M-I. It is a synthetic, which you'd never know. It's a fantastic brush. And I'm gonna go right on the apple of my cheek. So I go right on the apple, and I kind of just brush it back a little bit. And down. I just kind of want to give myself a nice warmth. So many of you take your blush and you go like this, like you're a steak. Again, We are not a food group. You don't want to do that, okay? You're not, because when you go out running, is that the way that your skin gets red? No, it gets red through here. You want to really stay with normal, natural, okay, unless you're, going into Barbie doll land. And then we're going to go on this cheek as well. And I put a little on my, whatever this is, brow bone. Go a little on my chin. Sometimes I go down my neck a little bit. Looks like I went a little overboard right there. Just wipe it off. So, great. I actually could put makeup or mascara and lipstick on and walk out the door. That's how this warms up the skin to such a lovely degree. So blush I love blush. I mean, there's a lot of people I know who don't like blush, who don't want to wear blush. To me, as you get older, your skin loses a lot of its color. It's really important to use blush. If you like to use a cream blush, go ahead, knock yourself out. There's some amazing cream blushes out there. Benefit makes a fabulous one. Most lines make good cream blushes. I live in a dry climate, so I'm not such a huge fan of cream blushes because if your skin is dry, it tends to streak. I tend to like powders better, but go with what works for you. I hope you found this helpful. Again, this was bronzer and blush, and please stay tuned for the next episode where I will talk about lips and eyebrows because they work together, so stay tuned.